Get started. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Tyler Steffi. I serve as the Director of Student Life here at the college. In that role, I oversee, and some of you may have seen me, over the summer at different events or at the session on campus in the HSC a few weeks ago. So I oversee all the clubs and organizations at the college, leadership development programs, serve on a variety of different committees at the college in an effort to help enhance your experience as a student at college here. Over the last few years, we've kind of taken a more inclusive and integrated approach to how we engage students in different environments. So, for instance, we can put on different events. We had a spring fling that is it's a wonderful event. There were bouncy houses and stuff like that. But the one thing we're trying to get to is for you as a student to leave with an enhanced skill set to get you to whatever your next goal is. So you're going to have those hard skills that you develop in the classroom. You might have some co-curricular experiences, attached to those classes where you can really get some hands-on experience. Some of our academic programs, intrinsically have this built into them, like our nursing programs, medical assisting programs, education programs, where you're going and getting practicum experience and you're learning how to do these things hands-on. We also want to provide experiences outside of that to help you gain some of the more essential or what used to be called soft skills, right? The teamwork pieces, communication, problem solving, critical analysis, being able to be inclusive in the way that we talk and things of that sort. So that's I say that to provide the framework for our discussion this morning to talk about what does leadership mean to you. And I'm sorry that there's only two of you here in person because that means you're going to have to talk a lot. So hopefully you're okay with that. But I am going to ask your opinions on some things and get your personal definitions about what does leadership mean to you? How does it manifest itself? How have you maybe experience leadership, whether someone to you or you to someone else. So those are some of the things we're going to talk about. And then at the end, before I leave this morning, so we got about 15 minutes or so just to have a nice discussion about what opportunities exist at the college that you can help enhance these skills while you're here in a safe environment, an environment that you can fail and learn from those things without any kind of repercussions about getting fired from your job or things of that sort. So first off, because I think we still just have Jennifer and Chad in here as students. So I want to ask the both of you, how do you define leadership in your life?
Can I go first?
Please do.
Okay. So leadership to me is taking the initiative. So somebody to get other people's morale up, whether you're doing anything. I actually have a leadership position that I got myself into at my children's school. I am the vice president of the PTO. So it's been very challenging the past year with the pandemic, and we're looking forward to the school year, but that's a good leadership position. So I kind of was new to the whole school. My son now is going to be in 5th grade. I was new to the whole school system in kindergarten. I saw everyone like being friends, and here I was like this lonely mom. So finally I decided in 3rd grade, I got the courage. I was going to jump in. I was going to make friends. I was going to get involved. And then I landed myself as vice president. So, and I've made wonderful friends through this whole thing. And it's kind of helped build me to where I am. And I like taking the initiative. I like jumping into things. So then my question for you is, where can I find information to get more involved in Montco to kind of like, boost my school up?
Well, we're going to get to that piece. but we're going to dissect some of the things that you mentioned once I get Tad's definition of leadership too here. But I love some of the things that you mentioned in there, so we're going to pick that out. So Chad, what's your definition of leadership?
I think my definition of leadership is kind of like what you just said, like taking charge and doing what you have to do, no matter what the situation is. Like, if that makes any sense.
Great, thank you. So I want to, highlight some of the things you all mentioned. So some themes that I noticed that a theme of initiative, right? The cool thing about initiative is it's not tied to a specific role, right? Jennifer, yeah, right, Jennifer. Um, it didn't require you to have a position to take the initiative, right? Like you weren't VP and then took the initiative. You took the initiative to become involved, to build your network, right? Like I think that's a huge theme of leadership. The old model of leadership, back in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, whenever leadership research really took hold, was like leadership is a position and you have to be in this position to be a good leader. That's not applicable in any way, shape, or form. You can be a leader no matter what position you may or may not hold, where you are within an organization. You don't even have to be in an organization to exemplify the characteristics of good leadership, and to build a network. Jennifer, you mentioned that you made lots of really good friends. In order to be a good leader, yeah, that's a great point. A role model is another example of leadership. Like, in order to be a good role model, to be a good leader, to be someone that can build your network, you have to have some really good listening skills, right? Leadership isn't always about talking. It's also listening and being an empathetic listener and understanding where people are coming from. If you think about the most influential leaders in all of history, they had the ability to connect with people. And it wasn't always them talking. Maybe it was how they acted. Maybe it was, the way that they responded to things too. So thank you all for that. And the essence of that is leadership is a process, right? You're not in that position. You're always evolving as a leader. You're thinking about different skill sets that you can lean on that become natural to you, so that you can help others. Okay. So thank you all for your definitions there. Anything to add or any questions about that before we move on to some of the opportunities that are available at the college? Okay. So at the college, we've got a variety of different opportunities to kind of continue that process of leadership development. The first opportunity I want to talk about is student government. So we have a student government association at the college. They meet once a week during the academic year, and they talk about student concerns. The overall essence that they abide by is to listen to student concerns, to direct students to different resources on campus, and to help student success, right? And student success manifests itself in a variety of different ways. It's representing students on official college governance committees. It is providing reviews and feedback of college policies and protocols to help students. It's to take the feedback we're getting from students. So, for instance, last year we implemented Talkspace. It's a really great resource. One of the things that was missing is that it didn't enable students to actually have a live in-person conversation with someone, which is really necessary for some folks to kind of push through some of the mental health challenges that they're facing. So probably midpoint of the year, SGA provided that feedback. There were some things in the works, and then we were able to get that through. So there's an influential piece that it requires people to listen, requires you to be relational, and requires you to be able to advocate on the needs of others. Okay. We also have our student ambassador program. Student ambassadors require you to be enrolled for 6 credits per semester during the fall and spring semester. You need to have a 2.5 GPA, both for ambassadors and for SGA. And you need to have been here for at least a semester. And that's to make sure you have some experience under your belt. It's hard to be an ambassador from somewhere you've never been before. So student ambassadors help out with events. You go through extensive training for customer service, college resources. We get to know more about the Act 101 resources, and all the other student support programs at the college, academic affairs, and understanding the structure there, things of that sort. So, just a variety of really good experiences to help you in being customer service oriented, to help you lead and advocate for students as well. So these are all experiences that, number one, look good on your resume whenever you're thinking about the specific skills that you're looking for. And Jennifer, I can send me. I'll put my email in the chat, and I'll send you the application link for that. And then, kind of moving forward, we also have other basic leadership development opportunities. So we have the Montco Leads program. That's a series of 5 workshops per semester, and there's incentives for completion along the way. And they cover a variety of topics, everything from kind of diversity, equity, and inclusion topics in its relation to leadership. We cover some of the concepts of the leadership challenge. We cover concepts of the social change model and helping you understand how you progress as a leader, going from understanding yourself, understanding the organizations that you're involved, and then understanding the role of leadership within the larger community. And it's necessary to kind of go in that process at first, and then as you evolve, things kind of continue to develop from there. So, so any questions about those opportunities? Awesome. And I apologize for the screaming toddler in the background. You know, I'm not as eloquent in my parenting as some of you, so my apologies for that.
I'm thinking somebody's having a
Oh, my kids scream all the time.
Perfect. So those are some of the leadership opportunities. Now we have some additional things too that aren't necessarily like the structured experience, right? You can be a leader of the student organizations and facilitating meetings and developing a network from there. You can do a variety of other things as far as working with faculty on special projects. You can get involved in athletics. You can get involved in other co or extracurricular opportunities as well. So Jennifer, I'm going to put my email in the chat. And get involved.
I had a question about athletics. Can anyone join, or is it just for the younger people?
I'm not aware of any age restrictions. I'll put the athletics email in there.
I mean, I'm not athletic, but I was just curious.
Yeah, so I don't believe NJCAA, it's more of eligibility as far as years of eligibility, but they can answer more specifically. There's a lot of There's a lot of details as far as the eligibility pieces of NJCAA, and I don't want to misspeak on that.
Okay. I don't think you guys have my sport, so I was just curious.
Yes,
do we have
we've got
any
about
club type sports like that aren't like league type sports? You know what I'm trying to say? Like some colleges have more sports for fun as opposed to actual competitive league play.
Yeah, so we sometimes have intramurals. They're sporadic. We don't have any club sports at the moment, but we have developed intramurals based out of interest too. So, for instance, there was a men's volleyball group that wanted to play, and so we set up opportunities for that. We've had a tennis club before. We've had a movement club, and they kind of did like body weight exercises and stuff like that. So, depending on one's interest, it doesn't have to necessarily be a varsity sport. If you want to create a club to practice a sport or do something like that, you can do that.
What is your sport, Jennifer? Got me curious now.
I'm a swimmer.
A swimmer?
A swimmer, yeah, competitive swimming. I've taught aerobics, I've taught swimming lessons, I've taught lifeguarding, I've done all that fun stuff, but I haven't really been able to find a pool around here that's like close.
Well, Tyler, get
Really?
on that. Put the pool in.
Yeah.
I'll get right on that.
Get a pool.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to give a brief overview of some of our opportunities. I put my email address in there. I can send you some links and things like that. Jennifer, please definitely remind me about the ambassador application. I can get that to y'all. And Christine, I'll send it to you as well. It is in the student happenings email every single time it comes out. So another one will be coming out July 31st. So keep an eye on that. We also have peer tutoring opportunities. So if you're really good in a subject or feel confident that you can help someone else, please apply to that. And then I'm trying to think of other opportunities at the college. My thing is just find one thing at least. Some of you all want to get involved in 15 things, and that's great if you have capacity for that. The other thing too is if you don't, just find one thing. Maybe it's a special project with a faculty member. Maybe it's joining a club. But you got to find that one thing that can help you start building that network, help you start building some of these transferable skills that's going to help you in the future. Skills are like anything, right? If you don't practice them, they're not going to enhance. Like they're just going to stay where they're at, or they might even regress. So you want to continue practicing these things so that when you come time for whatever your professional goal is, that you stand out, right? Because the biggest issue is you have the hard skills, right? We're providing you opportunities for the essential skills and those soft skills. But if you can't articulate them in how they're relevant to your job, it's going to be a struggle for you in an interview to help. Like you look good on paper, but then when you're in the interview, if you can't kind of clearly articulate how those things are, that can be tough. So Jennifer, did you go to the Discover piece on Montco Connect?
I don't remember because this was like in the spring I was looking for it, and I can't tell you where I went. I was just kind of like playing around, and I saw something that said clubs, and then it only showed like 3 or 4.
Yeah, try that link I just put in there. See if more than 4 show up.
All right, thank you.
I have a different screen set up than most people because I'm already a part of all the clubs. I just want to make sure it shows up for you. Did that one show more?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Perfect. So, and it's also easy to start a club. So if you're ever interested in that, let me know. I can walk you through that process. Sarah will be back after August 9th. She's kind of our club specialist that deals with the ins and outs every day, getting people registered and stuff like that. So, if you don't see anything that interests you and you want to start your own, pretty easy process, and we're happy to help.
Well, question. I haven't looked, but do you have like a club for like mom students or parent students?
So we used to about 5 years ago. And I know that there's been a request for it. So now one of the things that we've also done in the past, so we've now created 3 different types of co-curricular engagement clubs or opportunities. So you've got affinity groups, and this might be where something like that could start out. That way you don't have to go through the club process. The club process does take a few more steps. Like you have to have an advisor, you got to have at least 4 people, you got to have a constitution, things of that sort. Whereas the affinity groups, you just need to have someone fill out the form and you're good to go. And that way you have an online forum, if you want to put resources for, moms who are students and, the different childcare opportunities that might exist out there, helpful resources in the community, and maybe just a support group. Because, I'm sure many moms probably don't necessarily have time to meet weekly. But they might want to just like it's almost like a Facebook group where you can kind of talk about different things.
Tyler, can I ask you a question about Talkspace?
Yeah.
I've had 2 students say that when they went on through the Montco site, that they were still asked for their insurance and otherwise said they would have to, be responsible financially. And I know that's not the case. And I wasn't sure, how to make sure that doesn't happen.
They using the code. So I just learned a couple of weeks ago.
I think I could send Leslie the information on that.
Isn't wellness something, the code? She said she used the code.
So they have to make sure that they're actually using their, we just addressed this yesterday with a student. They have to make sure that they're using their college email address first is very important. And Montco Wellness is the keyword. If they ask for a keyword, it's all uppercase, Montco Wellness, all one word.
Okay, I don't know if they used all one word or, okay.
I can forward you all the
Okay,
but there's a specific
okay.
support email address they can connect with if they have issues.
Because I've had two students mention that, and then they kind of gave up, and I don't want people to give up that easily,
Yeah, I mean, my thing is double check that they're doing those things. If it's still happening, let us know. And we need specific information so that we can talk to Talkspace representatives to see what's going on. Stuff like that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, well,
That they're not logged into the portal or they're not using their Montco email address. So they might log into the portal, but then they might put their personal email address in it, and that causes a whole.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know that part. I know in both cases, they said they were in the portal and used this wellness Montco, but they might not have used it as one word or capitalized it or.
So it's Montco Wellness.
Montco Wellness.
Montco Wellness.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll email you all the info.
Okay, and I'll forward it. Yeah.
I have a meeting.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for the opportunity. Chad and Jennifer, I look forward to seeing you at some different things. If you're ever interested in really, jumping on board and participating in these things, please let me know. SGA applications will open on the first day of class. So September 1st, they'll go through about, I think, September 24th or something like that. And then we'll have elections in October. That's for our senator positions. And then ambassadors, the application's open year round. So if you meet the minimum qualifications for that, I definitely encourage you to apply. It's a great opportunity. We meet weekly. We do a lot of events. It's a paid position as well. So you get a little bit of money. It's not a lot, but you get a little bit of money to help you out there. So if you have any questions, email addresses are in the box there. But thank you all so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Tyler.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Tyler.
Bye. All right. Any questions before we log off? I know Jennifer and Leslie are going to stay on. I won't bore Chad with my follow-up unless anybody really wants to hear me go on about leadership. I have some notes in a video, but I don't think either of you want to sit through that, although I'm happy to send it out. The only things I want to hit on some of the points which Tyler actually touched on is it's not about the title or the position. Everyone is a leader every day. And I think it really starts with self-leadership. So, and it's like Jennifer said, it's taking initiative. So it's being daring sometimes to speak up when you see things that just aren't right and doing the right thing, even when other people aren't looking. So it really starts with yourself. And I think Tyler really hit on it. He touched on the different opportunities here at the college. And I think one that he sort of touched on at the end was work study opportunities. So as an ambassador, you do get paid, but there's also work study opportunities, which I think are also a great opportunity to practice your leadership skills. So if you're eligible for a work study position and you take it, it's what you make of it. So if you use that as an opportunity to brush up on those skills and to really learn new things, that's something that you can take with you out into the workforce or take it to your four-year institution. So any questions before we all go? A lot of good information.
And next week we'll be talking about financial aid and internships.
Yes. And then we also do have, in addition to internships next week, we also have a speaker coming to talk about work study opportunities in the coming weeks. So definitely watch Connect so that we can discuss that as well.
Yep. Hi guys. I have my camera off because I'm having some internet issues, so sorry about that. But just to touch a little bit also on leadership, like think forward thinking. Think about like what your leadership style would be, right? Because there are different leadership styles. There's like authentic leadership, there's servant leadership, and so on and so forth. There's so many different styles. So thinking about that as well as you kind of like evolve into, you know, your career as far as leadership, think about what your leadership style is as well. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Good suggestion.
Absolutely. All right. Well,
Shall we end the recording?
Yeah. Well, stop that recording.